filters and effects. Filters and effects. So what about filters and effects? And how to use the blur gallery in Photoshop? By the way, you can use the blur gallery to quickly create distorted photographic blur effects with intuitive on image controls. And by the way, each blur tools provides intuitive on image controls to apply and control the blur effect. And with the blur adjustment is complete, and you can use the Bokeh controls to style the overall blur effect. And by the way, Photoshop provides a full size live preview. And when you work with the blur gallery effects, and you have to choose filter, and you can choose blur gallery, then you choose select and the desired effect. For more information on other blur effects, you have to see adjust image sharpness and blur. And by the way, for lens blurs, field blur, iris blur, and tilt and shift blur, you have to press the M key to view the blur mask applied to the image, and the black areas are not blurred, by the way, while lighter areas indicate the amount of blurring applied to the image. And what about field blur? Field blur is meaning that you can use field blur, by the way, to build a gradient of blurs by defining multiple blur points with different amounts of blur, and also you can add multiply pins to the image and specify a blur amount for each pin, by the way, and the final result is combined effect of all blur pins on the image. And you can also even add a pin outside the image to apply the blur at corners. And you have steps here now. Step number 1, you should choose filter firstly, then you choose blur gallery, then you choose field blur, and the field blur, by the way, pins is placed on the image, and you have to click the image to add additional blur pins. Step number 2, you should click a pin to select it and do one of the following. Drag the blur handle to increase or decrease the blur, and you can also use the blur tools panel to specify a blur value. And after that, you should drag the pin to a new location, and after that press delete to remove it, like the next screenshot now. The next image now and the next screenshot explain for you the field blur pins. And we have A and B. A image is meaning unselected blur pin, and B is meaning selected blur pin. So what about iris blur? Iris blur is meaning that you can use the iris blur to simulate shallow depths of field effects to your picture, and irrespective of the camera or lens used. And you can also define multiple focus points, an effect almost impossible to achieve using traditional camera techniques. And you have steps here now. Step number 1, you have to choose filter firstly, then you choose blur gallery, then select iris blur. And by the way, the default iris blur bin is placed on the image, and you have to click the image to add additional blur pins, like the next screenshot now. A is meaning sharp area, and B is meaning fade area, and C is meaning blur area. And step number 2, you should drag the handles to move them to redefine the various areas, by the way. Step number 3, you should drag the blur handle again to increase or decrease the blur, and you can also use the blur tools panel to specify a blur value. So what about tilt shift? By the way, you can use the tilt shift effect to simulate an image taken with a tilt shift lens, and this special effect, by the way, blur defines area of sharpness and then fades to a blur at the edges. And the tilt shift, by the way, effect can be used to simulate photos of miniature objects. We have steps again here now. Step number 1, you should choose filter firstly, then you choose blur gallery, then you choose tilt shift. And after that, the default tilt shift blur pin is placed actually on this image, and you should click the image to add additional blur pins, by the way, like the next screenshot. The next image now explain for you. We have A and B and C. A is meaning sharp area, B is meaning fade area, and C is meaning blur area. Step number 2, you should drag the blur handle to increase or decrease the blur, and also you can use the blur tools panel to specify a blur value. Step number 3, to define the different areas, do the following. Drag the lines to move them, and drag the handles and rotate. And what about path blur? Path blur is meaning you can't use the path blur effects, and also you can create motion blurs along paths, and also you can control the shape of amount of blurring. And by the way, Photoshop automatically composites the effects of multiple paths blurs applied to an image. Like the next image now, the next screenshot explain for you a path blur. Explain for you a path blur example. And you should to follow these steps now. Step number 1. You should choose filter firstly, then choose blur gallery, then choose path blur. And step number 2. In the blur tools panel, under the path blur section, specify whether you want to apply and the basic blur. A basic blur, by the way, or a rear sense, and a flash blur. And a rear sense flash blur simulates the effects of a flash fired at the end of an exposure. And we have steps again. Step number 1. You can't use the on-image controls in conjunction with steps 4 to 8 of this procedure. Step number 2. Specify the following setting. Speed, we have options here. Speed is meaning adjust the speed slider to specify the amount of path blur you want to apply to the image, and then the speed setting is applied actually to all path blurs in the image. And the next option, taper. Taper is meaning adjust the slider to specify a taper value, and a higher taper value less the blur trail off gradually. And by the way, if necessary, deselect centered blur, and you may want to deselect this option if you want to apply a more directed motion blur. And the centered blur, by the way, option helps create stable blurs by centering the blur shape for any pixel on that pixel. And in the motion blur effect tab, you should specify the following setting. We have many settings here now. Strobe flashes. What about strobe flashes? It's meaning that you can set the number of exposures of the virtual strobe flash light. And what about strobe strands? Strobe strands is meaning determine how much blurring is displayed between the strobe flash exposures. And the strobe strands, by the way, controls the balance between ambient light and the virtual strobe flashlight. And no strobe, by the way, no strobe effect is displayed if you set strobe strands to 0%, and only continuous blur is shown. And on the other hand, when you set strobe strands to 100%, the strobe flashes, by the way, are produced in full strands, but no continuous blur is displayed between flash exposures. And intermediate strobe strands values produce a mixture of individual strobe flashes along with continuous blur. We have steps again. Step number 1, if necessary, adjust the blur amounts at the endpoints. And step number 2, optionally, adjust the blur shape guides and select edit blur shapes to view the guides. Step number 3, in the blur tool options bar, you should click OK to commit the path blur effect. So what about bring your photos to life with the path blur filter in Photoshop? Bring your photos to life with the path blur filter in Photoshop. We have tips for working with the on-image controls, by the way. And you can use the overlay controls to conveniently create path blurs. And by the way, using the controls, you first define a path for the blur blue, and you can also then define a curve for the path, and therapy creating new curve points in the path. And once the path has been defined, you can also define blur shape guides red. Like the next image now. This image now, we have A and B and C in this image now. Look at this image carefully. This image explains for you how to define a path for the blur. A is meaning beginning point for the path, and B is meaning curve point created while defining a path. C is meaning end point for the path along with the blur amount wheel control. And by the way, the image is a derivative of the public domain work and running in the snow by Gustav Corbett. And look at this image again, this screenshot now. We have A and A again. This screenshot explains for you how to define plural shape guides, not that the red arrows and A meaning plural shape guides. And what about manipulate plural passes and plural shape guides? Manipulate plural passes and plural shape guides. We have steps. You should click an endpoint to select it. After that, double click an endpoint to view the red plural shape guides. And alternatively, you should select edit plural shapes in the plural tools panel to view the guides. After that, drag endpoints to lengthen the plural path. After that, control click endpoint to reduce its plural shape guide to 0. And after that, hover the mouse pointer near a selected endpoint to view the plural amount wheel control. And after that, Alt click and a curve point along the plural path to convert it into a corner point. And Alt click a corner point to convert it back to a curve point again. And after that, shift drag the red plural shape to move both plural shapes for the path together. And after that, you can use the command control drag combination to move a path plural, and also you can use the alt command control drag combination to duplicate a path plural. And after that, you can delete a path plural with an endpoint selected, then press the delete key. So what about spin plural? What about spin plural? It's meaning that using the spin plural effect, you can rotate and blur the image around one or more points, by the way. And the spin blur is a radial blur measured in degrees. And the Photoshop, by the way, lets you work with a center point and blur size and shape, and the other setting all while viewing a live preview of the changes. Like the next images now, we have A and B and C. This image, by the way, explains for you spin blur in action. A is meaning original image, and B is spin blur angle 15, strobe strength 50%, and strobe flashes 2, strobe flashes duration 10. And C is meaning blur angle 60, strobe strength 100%, and strobe flashes 4, and strobe flash duration 10. And also you have to follow these steps now. We have many steps. Step number 1. You should choose filter firstly, then choose blur gallery, then choose spin blur. And step number 2, in the blur tools panel, under the spin blur section, you can use, by the way, the blur angle control to vary the amount of blurring, and you can either specify an angular value between 0 to 360 or adjust the slider, and alternatively, you can also adjust the blur amount using overlay controls. And look at the next screenshot. The next image now explains for you. Vary the amount of blurring using overlay controls. And in the blur effects panel, on the motion blur effects tab, you have to specify the following setting, by the way. We have many settings here now. Strobe flashes is meaning set the number of exposures of the virtual strobe flashlight, and the strobe strength is meaning determine how much blurring is displayed between the strobe flash exposures and the strobe strength controls, and the balance between ambient light and the virtual strobe flash light. And by the way, no strobe effect is displayed. If you set strobe strength to 0%, only continuous blur is shown. And on the other hand, when you set strobe strength to 100%, the strobe flashes, by the way, are produced in full strength but no continuous. Blur is displayed between flash exposures, and intermediate strobe strength values produce a mixture of individual strobe flashes along with continuous blur. So what about strobe flash duration? Strobe flash duration, by the way, let's you specify in degrees the length of a strobe flash exposure, and the strobe flash duration controls the length of the blur for each flash exposure in terms of angular distance along the circumference. And also you can disable preview from the blur tool options bar, and do not, and be careful. By the way, Photoshop automatically blends effects of multiple pen blurs defined for an image. And what about types for working with the overlay controls? Types for working with overlay controls. By the way, overlay controls depicted in the illustration below are available for the spin blue effect, like the next image. This image, by the way, explains free overlay controls for the spin blur effects. ASC meaning rotation point, and BSC meaning blurring, and CSC meaning feather handles, and DSC meaning ellipse handles. And to add a new spin blur, you should click a desired location in the image. And to duplicate a spin blur, you can use the following keyboard combinations, and Windows Alt Control drag if you use macOS, Opt and Command drag. And to resize the ellipse uniformly, drag an ellipse boundary. And to delete a spin blur, you should press the delete key while the spin blur is selected. And to move a rotation point of center, you can use the following keyboard combination if you use Windows. Press Alt drag if you use macOS, and Opt drag. Repositioning and the rotation point is helpful while working with objects viewed at an angle. And after that, hold down the H key to temporarily hide the overlay controls. What about blur effects? Blur effects is meaning that, by the way, you can enhance the overall image by controlling the appearance of out of focus of blurred parts, by the way. And also you can specify the Bokeh parameters to ensure an overall blessing effect. And in the blur effects panel, you should specify a value for the following. We have many functions. Light bokeh is meaning that brightness of the out of focus or blurred areas in the picture. And bokeh colors is meaning that you can add more vivid color to lighten areas that are not blown out to white. And what about light range? Light range is meaning that determines the range of tones the setting effect. And what's the meaning of restore noise in blurred areas? How to restore noise in blurred areas? By the way, sometimes after applying a blur gallery effect, you may notice that the blurred area of the image looks synthetic or unnatural, and you can restore or noise and grain to such a blurred image area to give it a more realistic appearance, by the way. Like the next image and next screenshot. This image now explain for you. Restore grain and noise to make blurred areas look more realistic. And by the way, after using controls to achieve the initial effect, follow the steps now to restore noise. We have many steps here now. Step number 1. In the blur effect panel, on the noise tab, ensure that the checkbox is in the top right corner is selected, and you may deselect this checkbox at any time to revert any noise previously added to the blurred image area, by the way. Step number 2. You should select the type of noise that you want to apply to the blurred area and uniform, and the same as the noise added through the filter, then noise, then add noise, then uniform option, and Gaussian, and the same as the noise added through the filter, then choose noise, then choose add noise, then choose Gaussian option. And by the way, green, same as the noise added through the add green options in camera roll. Step number 3. You should specify the following setting amount matches the amount of noise with the noise in the not blurred areas of the image, and adjust the slider between 0 to 100% size and only the green type noise, and controls the particle size for the noise roughness, and only available for green type noise, and controls the regularity of the green, and drag to the left blue 50% to make the green more uniform, by the way, and drag to right above 50% to make the green less even colored. Graduated slider controlling the degree to which the noise is colored, by the way, and to make the noise non-chromatic similar to the effect achieved by enabling the monochromatic option on the add noise dialog. You should choose filter firstly, then choose noise, then choose noise, then choose add noise, and then drag the slider to 0% and highlight for better shadow and highlight matching. Reduces noise in the highlighted areas of the image. Adjust the slider between 0% to 100%. And by the way, once you specify the setting for a noise type, Photoshop by the way remembers it if you switch back and forth between noise types. For example, when you switch from grain type noise to Gaussian type noise and then back to grain type noise. How to apply blur gallery effects as smart filters. How to apply blur gallery effects as smart filters. By the way, the blur effects in the blur gallery now support smart objects and can be applied non-destructively as smart filters. By the way, this feature by the way also supports smart object video layers. And to apply a blur gallery effect as a smart filter, we have steps here now. Step number 1, in the layers panel, should select a smart object layer. Step number 2, should choose filter, then choose blur gallery, and then choose the appropriate effect. For more information about smart filters, see apply smart filters. And you have to see also filter effects and reference and Adobe Camera Raw and visionate and grain effects and visionate and grain effects and video and add creative blur to photos and filter effects and reference.